What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the 3-on-3 Pod. I'm one of your hosts today, Chris Williamson, and I'm so happy that we have Terrika Foster Brasby back after surgery. Terrika, how you doing? First of all, love to see your face.
First off, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. I'm doing. I ain't gonna lie, shit still hurt. But I be making it. I'm making it do what it do, because that's what we do from the D. We keep it trucking, we keep hustling. So I'm still here, but for the most part, I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be back. I'm ready to cut up and act a fool with my friends today.
I know that's right. That is exactly what I wanted to hear. And yeah, we will continue to pray for your full recovery. And then we got Shari Nycole coming back to the scene. What's up, Shari? How you doing?
What's up, y'all? I'm fantastic. Christmas is 2 stone throws away, and so I'm looking forward to getting some naps and eating some more terrible food before we got to go back into the new year and try to be on some type of a cleanse. So I am doing well. Glad to be back and glad to be here with Terrika today. I'm really excited and good to be with you again, Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, y'all, I know y'all two gonna cut up. Y'all definitely gonna have a lot of fun with the topics we got planned for y'all. But yo, the WNBA just released their schedule. Right, they didn't release the TV times and all that, but they released the schedules, the dates of who they're playing. And for me, I was kind of a little disappointed, y'all, that we didn't get Aces Liberty for game one, I should say.
I know, right?
I'm like, really? But I don't know what y'all think, but I am excited to see the Liberty and the Mystics play opening night, because that's something that can be spicy, as we saw with Natasha Cloud, Sabrina Ionescu, that last game that was epic. So I'm happy to see that, because I think that could build into a little bit of a rivalry. But Terrika, what about you? What from the schedule really made your heart happy?
Well, I will say that I think when free agency comes, that's when we really gonna be like, oh, this matchup gonna be spicy. But I am excited for the Connecticut Sun. No shocker there. I'm surprised. I'm excited for the Connecticut Sun facing LA and Boston on August 20th. That is a big deal for them to take the Connecticut Sun on the road to TD Garden. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, good opportunity to give Boston a chance to really indulge into some women's basketball. So I'm really excited for that game. I better be on the sideline for that game, is all I'm saying. And I'm leaving.
You heard her.
Make it plain. Let these people know. Look, like for me, I can wait to see the Liberty and the Aces. Like I'm okay. Like let everybody kind of get their footing, and I think that that'll be a strong matchup either way. So I'm okay with it not being open tonight. But I will say, and this is just me simply being sentimental and from Chicago, I'm really excited to see the Sky play the Liberty. July 11th, Teresa Witherspoon, excuse me. I'm so excited for her. Can't wait to see what she does with the Sky from the head coaching position, and to have her go back home to New York and be able to play that game. Like for me, just as a Chicago girl, you know what I'm saying? And a Teresa Witherspoon fan, like I'm just from a heartstrings perspective, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Teresa, she has my heart. Like I love her passion, the way she attacks the game, just the bars that she drops. So yeah, that's another one that nobody can argue about. Is going to be really exciting. It's also been really exciting lately, and somebody or a team that we probably didn't expect to be playing this well, the Los Angeles Clippers. We were laughing about them when they made that trade for James Harden. Now, after destroying the Indiana Pacers last night, Monday, they have won 8 straight. And guess who went off? Your boy, Terrika, James Harden, 35 points. He was doing snow angels on the court.
Listen.
Like, hey, all I'm saying is you had a lot to say about James Harden, the way they started off, and now they done flipped the script. So what do you have to say now? You still sticking with that point?
Well, let me just first say this, okay? We ain't gonna go too hard on how they went off on Indiana, because Indiana don't play no defense, and everybody knows
right.
that. So that's one, okay? But defenseless aside, you're right. I have talked a lot of shit about James Harden and how he really needs to realize that he's not that guy. So when somebody shit the bed, I'm gonna call them out on it. And when they're playing well, I'm gonna also give them their props for it. So I will say in the last 10 games, James Harden, listen, you're that guy. Playing well in the last 10 games, averaging 18 points a game, 9 assists per game. I think what's really interesting is that the team is actually plus 16 when he's on the floor. So he is finding himself. He is kind of playing like old Harden for right now. And I do think that it's working well for them when you got him being effective offensively, when you got Kawhi Leonard dropping 30, because he doing Kawhi type stuff. You know what I mean? So I think it's really made this Clipper team really difficult to stop over these last 8 games. It's kind of pick your poison right now. But James, you better keep it up. You gotta keep it up, because the moment that you stop, I'm gonna go back to telling you how you playing like shit and how you were not that guy. I'm gonna keep the same energy, and I want you to know that I'm keeping the same energy. So congrats, kudos, you're doing well. Don't fall off, is all I'm saying. Don't fall off.
You think he's gonna fall off, Shari? Okay, give him a clap.
It's the
what month? Let's all be reminded that it's December. So let's see what we're looking like in 2-3 months. I don't trust James Harden. So sorry to tell you. Good for him. I'm glad he's doing his Angels, and I'm glad that the Clippers are winning and all of these things. We understand that team chemistry has been the hot topic for the Clippers when they brought him in. So I'm glad to see that all of them are playing well together and figuring it out. Kawhi is killing it. But I don't trust him. In part because I don't trust his ego. Right now it's in check. I don't necessarily think as they move through that he's going to continue to realize, like Terrika saying, that you're not that guy. You're one of the guys. I just don't know if he's going to be able to settle into that all the way through a season. He's just postseason James. He's just not. I don't trust him. I'm so sorry. So I'm glad the Clippers are doing well, but obviously not, just in my personal opinion, not for the reasons that deal with Harden. I want Kawhi to do well. I love Paul George's game. I really want to see him win. But and I like Tyronn Lue, but James, just I'm with Terrika on this. Here you go. But I still don't trust you, and we'll see what happens.
Y'all ain't right, man.
Can I piggyback off something really quick, though? Because I like what Shari just said about team chemistry, right? I think that was the biggest problem for me when he first got there. It's just that y'all did not know how to play together because you got 5 superstars on the floor at the same time. So credit to Tyronn Lue for, one, figuring out how to make lineup adjustments, but 2, putting ego aside. I think that's a big point that you're making, Shari, is that people need to put their egos aside, and he's able to do that. But so has Russell Westbrook, right?
Yes.
I think the most glaring issue is that they could not share the court together. You got 2 guys who really are at their best when they're creating shots for other players, even though they don't always realize that they're at their best when they're creating shots for other players. But that's really when they play their best basketball. And so it wasn't working. And so I got to give some kudos to Russell Westbrook, who, was like, listen, I'll go to the bench. And I think when you realize that sacrifice is the best way to show your commitment to winning, that's when you can put together longevity. And so if they can continue to keep their egos in check and continue to say, hey, you know what? We play best when you're coming off the bench, when you're on the perimeter, when you're defending, when we giving Kawhi the ball on the post, when we're feeding Zubac, you know what I mean? Like, that's when I think this team will continue to do well. So it ain't really just James Harden. It's just figuring out, this is your role, bro. Play your role. Stay in your lane. Play your position. Keep your ego in check.
For sure.
100%. And the other thing that I love, you talk about team chemistry, is, I don't know if you guys saw, but when James Harden was going off with all those threes, the team, I've never seen Kawhi Leonard so animated, as well as Russell Westbrook, because there's just this joy about the squad right now. And of course, it is still December, as Shari mentions, but I love to see that they're getting along, because I know it probably wasn't easy when they were, losing 6 in a row. They had some hiccups, and Russell was, frustrated and all that. But now they seem to have found their groove. And Kawhi Leonard, we talk about him. That man has played in 24 straight games, 24 plus straight games for the first time since 2016. That is a huge deal, because he was looked at as the face of load management, right? He's dealing with all these injuries, going back to the Spurs, Toronto. And look now, I want to be in these games, probably that threshold, right? To get MVP or first team, whatever. he's real motivated. So I'm happy to see the Clippers and Kawhi really shining right now. But to your point, I got to see it in March, April, and May, right? If
springtime, that don't spring forward. Yeah. Let
exactly.
show me what you're doing right now. Then I'll believe you.
Yeah,
exactly. Do you believe in the Golden State Warriors, Shari? Because they have looked. I won't say terrible, but they have not looked like the Warriors that we've been accustomed to for so many years when they were going through their dynasty, right? You got Draymond Green, who cannot keep his hands off people. Klay Thompson looks like his powers have been stolen, although recently, ever since he was talking about his struggles, he's had a really hot streak. Steph Curry is trying to do it all, and he's only getting older, so that's not going to last forever. Andrew Wiggins kind of reverted back to some of his old bad habits, like Kevon Looney. I just don't know if I think this is the end, right? Because they do have some good young pieces, right? With Trace Jackson Davis. And then you have Jonathan Kuminga. I think he deserves more minutes. Of course, he's getting them with Draymond out now. He's going to be out at least 3 weeks, according to reports. But I believe the dynasty is over. Do you guys believe it's over? Terrika, I'll start with you.
Dynasty been over, bro. Honestly, even before this season, I felt like the dynasty's been over. And that doesn't mean that a team doesn't play well, just to simply say that other teams are playing better. And so even before this season, I felt like the Golden State Warriors, it was great while it lasted. It was. But it's just not there anymore. Players are getting older. As you alluded to, Klay Thompson just has completely lost and shaken all his confidence. And you've really started to see that after that Achilles injury. He just never really has been able to get back to playing Klay Thompson basketball. He just looked okay. And there was a moment in time where Klay Thompson looked like he was like unstoppable, phenomenal. He was that player that I think anytime you saw a guy on your bench and you could be like, you could be the next Klay Thompson. Like now, you don't want to be Klay. Klay, all right. Klay might not have a spot on somebody else's squad. So, you know what I mean? Now, granted, over the last couple of games, as you mentioned, he did look well. He played very well against, I think it was Portland they just played. So, so absolutely, no one's saying that he's like he just doesn't have it anymore, but his confidence doesn't seem the same. It hasn't really seemed the same. And it just feels like this team is just getting older. And although I do think they do have some very good young pieces, I don't think it's enough for them to sustain the level of success that they previously had when they had Draymond playing out of this world from a defensive standpoint, when Klay Thompson was again Superman, when Steph Curry was not only doing everything, but doing everything in every arena, anytime he stepped on a court, everywhere across the world. Like these guys are just getting older. And I also just don't think that the pieces that people thought were going to come together really came together in the way that they want them to in terms of building the future. Because you know how every GM is. Every GM feels like they're going to be the ones to pick the best players so that when this dynasty is over, another one is going to come up. And then we have to remind them, you did pick Joe Wiseman. How's that working?
James. Your boy. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, James Wiseman. Yeah. I'm like, listen, I can't even get his name right. That's how much he ain't even acting right. You know what I'm saying? Wigs be wigging sometimes. He ain't always. You know what I mean? So I just don't think that this whole backup plan, like they're not, Steve Kerr is not a Nick Saban. He's not a Dawn Staley. They don't have players on the bench waiting in the wing, waiting to take over and continue the trend. This is a hard stop for the Warriors, I believe, right now. And I think they'll play well. I think they'll start, they're on a 2-game win streak now. I think they'll continue to play well. I think they'll be in the conversation for the playoffs come this spring. But if this team is looking for a championship contendership, that's not happening.
Yeah, I got to echo those sentiments. And I think, you guys talk about age and it's a real thing. And so I think there's some bad habits that the Warriors have gotten away with even. They've been very careless with the ball for many years. But when you got young legs and young guys.
Right. They were careless when they were winning.
Y'all have been turning the ball over like a fool for a long time. But when you have players in their prime, you're able to kind of work through those things and almost excuse them because you're so talented. Now, everybody, as you guys are saying, they're getting older. Draymond is a distraction. He is a distraction. Looney has been unimpressive in my eyes for at least the last couple of years. So there is some rebuilding, in my opinion, that must happen. And it's going to be a while for them. I don't think this is something that even if they put some different pieces in place, that they'll come back next season and, be a championship contender. And it happens. This happens to all dynasties. And I mean that even with Steve Kerr. Who knows? You guys mentioned, and I love Steve Kerr, but what kind of coach is he when a team is not ready-made? Because we have to give credit to Mark Jackson, who really built the Golden State Warriors up before Steve Kerr got there. So I think this is our first time really seeing Steve Kerr have to coach a team that doesn't really have it all together. So it'll be interesting. I think, as Terrika mentioned, they'll get better. They'll win some games. We all know you have like a Klay Thompson. You lose your confidence here and there. You go through, your shots won't fall, whatever. You work through those kinds of things. When we talk about dominance, those days are done. And I think that Wiggins also has to really evaluate. You've had enough time. So players that, they got time, they're going to figure it out, that still have not figured it out, that have fallen back into some of those bad habits, time for you to go. No shade, super talented, but I don't necessarily think he's going to turn this corner where he's going to be a player that's going to impact this program in the way that they need to continue to advance back to the levels that of the days of old, per se.
Yep. Yeah. The other thing that sticks out to me is Klay Thompson. They still have not agreed to a contract extension. Maybe perhaps they should have moved on from him a little bit earlier. And then what also comes to mind is who is going to want Draymond Green? Because at this point, I won't say they need to give up on him, right? But he is becoming such a distraction to the point where you almost have no choice but to trade him because of how he's bringing down the team. And seriously, who would want Draymond Green on their team right now? Who would want Klay Thompson on their team, y'all?
Can I tell you who would want Draymond on their team? Can I tell you?
Philadelphia Eagles.
They do need some help on the defensive end.
They need some help.
They could use somebody to tackle. They could use somebody to tackle. So you might not be wrong.
Oh my goodness, Lord. I was good.
Nothing that I was gonna say was gonna top that. Nothing. That's the team. That's the team.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. The Warriors, they are crumbling before our eyes slowly but surely. And I just hope that we appreciated all the years of them being at the top and being showboaters or front runners sometimes, because they provide a lot of entertainment and drama for the game. That was really good. Speaking of drama, though, Miles Bridges has been in a lot of drama the past year or two, and okay, all right. We say bye to him, and the Charlotte Hornets were prepared to play the Toronto Raptors on Monday. Only problem is Miles Bridges was denied entry into the country, and he did not play against the Raptors. Why is that? Well, because he's been convicted, right? He's pleaded no contest to felony domestic violence charges of injuring a child's parent on November 3rd, 2022. And then he has a February court date for an alleged violation of a domestic violence court order. And it's presumed that the reason why he was denied entry is because Canada can exclude or deny entry to anybody with a criminal record, human rights, all that. And it ain't surprising. The Hornets had the audacity to try to get him to play, try to work something out so he could go up against the Raptors. I don't even know where to begin with this. So I'm going to just let Terrika, you have it, because I know you have some really poignant thoughts about the matter, and I don't want to steal your shine.
You know what? I don't even know how to formulate the words to tell this man to go to hell. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it because there are so many layers to this conversation and to this issue that we could probably spend a whole show trying to dissect all the ways that this is wild. Number one, this man didn't just simply plead no contest. There are reports, literal police reports that prove and indicate that you were throwing shit, pool balls to be specific, at the car that your baby mother was driving that had your children in them. So you have no regard whatsoever for your children's life. What kind of father are you? That's one. Number two, how in the hell have we gotten to the point in this capitalistic society that we can disregard the fact that someone could be a shitty human being because we want to win basketball games? So we're going to go above and beyond to figure out what we can do to ensure his black ass get into Canada to play this game. No, it's mind-blowing how far off the rails we've gotten when it comes to the essence of competition. That ain't what the NBA is about. And speaking of the NBA, why do you even still have a job in the NBA? Because I've seen people not playing the NBA for less. This is ridiculous to me in and of itself. Now, we can go off on a whole different day about Canada and their rule about not letting people into felonies, because that could work and not work in certain circumstances. If you're someone who did your time, you've repent, you've done what you want to do, you want to build a new life for yourself in a new country, and somebody says, hey, we're not going to allow you access, we don't want your kind, or all of that other stuff, that's a different argument. Miles Bridges is not the poster boy for that. He ain't it. No. He don't deserve the access. He don't deserve the access to any court, even here in the States. And we're too far gone and too far blind to even understand that, because you still got fans who are out here acting like, oh, Miles Bridges gonna change, she gonna learn. You didn't learn last year the first time. You didn't learn this year the second time. You didn't learn when you got in trouble back at home in Michigan. You didn't learn. So this is not something that people are just going or should be able to just let roll by and roll off and just let slide on by in the Charlotte Hornets. What kind of organization are you to be even someone that a kid or a child or your fan or your female fans can look up to and say, you're someone who supports us. You're someone who has our back. Why should we continue to be loyal to you? Because you clearly don't give a damn about the children, and you don't give a damn about the women who support you by going to bat for this man. I understand the Players Association don't have a choice. He's a player. He's active. They have to fight for him. But y'all could do better. The NBA is a private entity. You are a private team. You could do better. You choose not to. I want to use a word, but I feel like it might be kids under the age of 16 listening to this podcast. So I ain't going to use a word, but blank all of y'all, because that's crazy. That's how I feel.
Whew. Well, you just preached, Terrika. I echo. Literally, we should have had the organs going right underneath that entire, I'm gonna call it a monologue. It was incredible, and I agree with you fully. The thing that is disappointing for me as a former athlete, as a woman, is, again, we're talking about a professional sports organization that is not taking domestic violence serious enough. We get on the backs of the NFL about it, MMA, and all of these other entities that have had to address this issue. This was the NBA's opportunity to take a real stance and really address this. And I think they have failed. I think the Charlotte Hornets have failed. And so for me, that's very disappointing. I'm glad he was denied. Totally. I have absolutely no level of empathy for somebody who habitually has made this their choice. And then we, again, look at the NBA. We're suspending Draymond indefinitely. John Morant serving a 25-game suspension, and, all of these other things. So you're picking and choosing what's priority for you to address. That is my issue. This is a problem. And of course, he's not going to change because, again, as Terrika mentioned, why would he if he hasn't been put in a position to be penalized for what he's doing? When somebody's still allowed to function in the capacity that they are, they're going to do that. You haven't done anything to deter him from functioning and behaving in this way. So this is For me, I think when these things, and this might be extreme, somebody may not agree with me. My thing is bye to you, period. Why are you in this league, period? So what is the standard of behavior in general? We're not talking about somebody who was undergoing a case and, we're talking about somebody who, this is what they did. This is what they've been doing. I don't care about suspensions in the past. Why are you in this league? So my thing is, what is the standard of conduct for the NBA? And if so, we understand that. Now does it need to be recalibrated? Does it need to be changed? Does it need to be adjusted? Because what do you as a league stand for? There are, as Terrika mentioned, children, families. This is the example that you want to put in front of people. I don't think he should be in the league, period. And I know that may sound extreme to people, but that's just where I stand on. I'm no tolerance when it comes to domestic violence.
Not extreme at all. Not extreme at all. No. Playing in the NBA is a privilege. You can be good at basketball, but everybody good at basketball does not have the privilege to play at the highest level in the NBA. World. So if you want to play, I'm not saying Miles Bridges shouldn't be able to play basketball. You want to play basketball, find some country that will let you in and go play over there. But in the NBA, you shouldn't be allowed to have a job because that 30-game suspension that they gave you was trash. 20 of it was retroactive. The 10 that you did this year, they're rewarding bad behavior. Mm-hmm. You should not be able to play in this league at all. I stand 10 toes on that.
No, as you should. There's no argument for him to get a second chance, right? You
mean a third chance?
Okay. A third chance, right? A third chance. Let me get that correct before Terrika comes through this phone, through this camera. But yeah, it's a privilege. You don't have to be barred from. You need to pay you have to deal with the consequences, right?
Yes.
And you can still live in society or whatever, but you ain't gonna be playing on center stage. You're not going to be playing for a professional organization where they pay you millions of dollars. And the thing that really upsets me, y'all, is the fact that he said after he came back that I hope that people will look at me differently once I start to play well or we start to win. And the sad part is he is right in some vein because there are fans who don't give a damn about what you do off the court, how you live your life. As long as you put in that basketball through the hoop, brother, you could be a murderer. You could be whatever, and we still going to support you. And that just makes me want to vomit to hear that because I know there are fans who think that way, but for him to say that out loud, that is.
Yeah, because that I call that, this is it's a bad name, but this is the closest thing that I could get. That's the R. Kelly factor. I know that he did such and such, but you can't deny that he made good music.
Facts. This is a cultural problem.
This is a problem. It's not just tied to one. It is a problem because we see it in so many different ways where people feel like you can separate one's profession from one's individual personality traits or characteristics when they are, when it's bad behavior. And it's just, no, this is a shitty human being because no one who has good common sense would do anything to jeopardize the life of a child by jeopardizing the life of the person driving vehicle that the child is in. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's not, I can separate him being a terrible person from him being a good basketball player. He's just a terrible person in general. That's something that a terrible person would do. And so there's no, and the other thing about this, and I ain't necessarily trying to compare leagues, but as you mentioned, the NFL being a little bit more conscious about domestic violence situations, and they absolutely don't always get it right. But I look at somebody like Ray Rice, who was caught on video punching his then fiance, now wife, and he has been contrite to me. He has devoted time to mentoring young men. He has devoted time and money to various domestic violence shelters, hosting panels. He has, to me, shown his wife has forgiven him. He and her are still married, to my knowledge, from the last time I've checked. You haven't heard his name in the media, getting into anything else, doing into anything else. To me, that is someone who has shown contrition for making a mistake, for doing something that he probably regrets doing. That man ain't never played another down of professional football since. For whatever reason, whether that's the NFL has denied you access, whether that's teams have said, I don't want someone who has this reputation or stigma on my team. And I'm not even going to go into whether or not I think it's right or wrong, given the fact that he's been contrite about his actions. But the point that I'm making is that teams at least took a stand to say, I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like there's not a precedent in some way of people taking a hard stance and saying, I appreciate the steps that you're taking to be better, but I don't think you need to be rewarded with playing in the highest league at the highest level because of it's just a simple consequence of your action.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to simply say the NBA could do better if they wanted to. They don't want to.
Yeah. That cherry picking on what is ethically appropriate, what you can be accountable for ethically, they need to do a way better job with that.
Agreed.
Way better job.
They're so far down on the totem pole or the rankings in terms of leagues that handle domestic violence or sexual assault, all that properly, right? And I think the reason why they do not feel the need to act in a morally just way is because they say, well, we're going to have fans regardless because people are addicted to our shit. So y'all can complain all y'all want, but we know you still going to get your butt in the seats. We're going to watch the games. So it's like a hard feeling because as you know, people in the media space, you don't want to support that or endorse it. But at the same time, you know, you still have to make a living covering these leagues. And I think it's like above our pay grade in a lot of ways. And then I don't know if we need to bring this up, but the fact that we still got Josh Giddey out there playing basketball for the Oklahoma City Thunder, even though there are two investigations for him allegedly dating or being in a relationship with an underage girl. And the fact that Adam Silver said, well, you know, we think this meets a threshold to just let the legal process play out. Like, we haven't suspended anybody when they're going through an investigation. But again, it's the lack of care and compassion for their fan base. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think majority of their fans are women, right?
For the Oklahoma City Thunder?
For the NBA, like the majority of their fans are women.
I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but I mean, I just know. I don't even know what else to say other than just this league is one that has shown time and time again that it does not truly have any affinity for its female fans.
Yeah.
And I thought the NFL was the one that really did it because the NFL showed us a long time ago they ain't give a fuck about women. Like we said a long time ago. Grant. And I'm a victim because I'll still be sitting up here every Sunday, go. You know what I'm saying? I still be sitting out here every week, betting, gambling. You know what I mean? So I'm calling myself out too. Don't trust it. I ain't fake about it. I know the real. I'm one of the problems.
Yeah.
The NBA is not even slowly but surely. They're just doing it. They're doing it. There are more games. It's more in our face. They're a bigger from a promotional standpoint. The NBA touches so many different things. It's ridiculous. And so Josh Giddey, same. You could have put him on administrative leave or a temporary leave of absence until his process was over. But y'all ain't want to do that. Y'all want to do that. Y'all pick and choose what battles you want to fight. You pick and choose where you want to. And as Shari said, this cherry picking on who and how and what. I mean, listen, I ain't saying you shouldn't have suspended Draymond indefinitely, but smacking the hell out of a player on the court ain't got nothing to do or anything remotely close to either having an inappropriate relationship with an underage woman or putting your children in danger. So I don't know how y'all consider that hierarchy, but whatever.
I know one thing on the hierarchy that it should be top priority. Anytime under investigation is attached to anybody, they don't need to be playing. Period. We're not asking the NBA to be the judge or the jury. We're simply asking them to regulate a process where if a player is under an investigation, they should not be playing. That sends the wrong message. Now, if they're found to be not guilty or what have you, cool. Here you go. Here's your uniform. But you have a player that's under an active investigation that is still permitted to play. That is totally inappropriate and uncalled for and inexcusable. You can't. I'm not understanding. I just don't get it.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever will. Yeah, because you can still pay him, right? Administrative leave, pay him, whatever. But you have to have some level of empathy and compassion for your fans and just how things look. It doesn't mean, they're going to never stop. They're never going to play again. It just during this investigation, you're not going to play. And if you're, cleared, you're innocent. Okay, you're back. And you may have lost 15 games, 20 games, but you'll make that up, right? When you come back and you still haven't lost, your step or your explosiveness. But speaking about, when you talk about investigations, our producer believes Monty Williams and Greg Popovich should be under investigation for the money that they're stealing. Because
not stealing the money.
Hey, I ain't supporting that, but that's just what the man said, right? And they are getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. Monty Williams is getting paid $15 million a year, and the Pistons have only won 3 games today. Greg Popovich is getting paid $16 million. What's that?
You won 3?
Yeah.
When the hell did we win the third one? Because I missed the drink for that one.
Oh, snap. Hey, man, you get me in trouble. They won 2 games. 2 games. 2 games, excuse me. 2 games.
I was about to run up out of here and hit the nearest bar
and throw a whole party.
In the morning.
And throw a whole party.
What? It was about to be mimosas on me if we had won 3 games.
Jesus.
But I mean, for the Pistons, I expect more, right? For the Spurs, I knew they were going to be bad, but I didn't expect them to be this dysfunctional. So my question to you, Terrika, is: do you feel Monty Williams should be getting some smoke, or has he given himself enough success from the Suns, right? The rest of his career, where you can still see a future where he can lead this team to respectability, because that's where we're at right now. Forget about contending for a playoff spot or a play-in spot. Mm-hmm. We just talking about being respectable in this league.
No, I don't blame Monty Williams whatsoever. Somebody throw $15 million at me when I told y'all I didn't want to be there from the beginning. I'm taking that shit too. He told y'all from the beginning he didn't want to come. You were insistent. You threw him the bag. He took the bag. I'm taking the bag too, and could probably do the same job that he's doing right now with the same results had I taken that same bag. It is what it is. The problem with the Pistons isn't just what's happening on the court. It's the infrastructure of the team. From ownership on down, from the moment Tom Gordon, we have not seen a playoff since 2019, and even then we got swept. It is just not. It's just not a good organization in terms of the structure, not in terms of the people. What Tom Gores has done for the city, the money that he's invested, the philanthropic efforts that he's done, that's been amazing. So I'm not taking any of that from him, but the structure of this team has not been good. Troy Reaver, I know they grabbed him from Oklahoma City. Best thing he's done was draft Cade Cunningham. And even then, Cade can't fully develop because he has been dealing with the after effects of that stress factor. That's going to take anybody some time to get back, and even more so when you're dealing with that as a rookie. So the whole development thing, now you can throw in Monty Williams, because Monty Williams ain't really ever been a real developmental type coach, if that makes any sense. But this team has just really they're stripped of everything. There's no confidence. There's no development. There's no trust. I believe you can see they look frustrated on the side. Organizationally, there's just so many mistakes being made after made. I mean, if I tell you that at one point in time, the Pistons had an opportunity to get Tyrese Halliburton and Tyrese Maxey and passed on both of them for Killian Hayes, I ain't saying, but I'm saying, what are we doing? So, yes, this team is really as bad as it looks. And the crazy part is, y'all, is that when you're watching them play, they're in games. Like, that's what's killing me.
Which is the worst. That's actually the worst. Just get blown out every night. Just get blown out every night. That's more powerful.
Swear to God, if y'all lost by 40 every night, I could say, well, this is the problem. But when you are in it at halftime, winning in the second quarter, making comebacks in the fourth, and losing by 2, by 3, by 5, like, what? You can't even catch a team on a bad day? Everybody gonna have a bad day. You know what I'm saying? Even a good team might have a bad day. You can't even catch nobody slipping. Man. At least San Antonio got Wemby. So you have something for you have a promise to give San Antonio fans. We just hanging on by vibes in Detroit. We just want to go to Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. We just here for the pizza. Because what is going on?
Look, I would take the check too. No shade. And also just shout out to Monty and his family. I know his wife has been dealing with cancer. And he announced she was cancer free just the other day. So, you know, who knows what that level of stress has also put on him. So seeing that kind of, we may see a more relaxed Monty Williams. We may see how that impacts him as a coach. We talked about Steve Kerr earlier. My thing is this, you know, I looked at Monty as a bit more of a builder before this coaching opportunity. And now we're saying that maybe he's not that kind of a coach. And so again, this is an opportunity for him to challenge himself, despite what the front office is doing. Because let me tell you something, Terrika, I'm from Chicago. I know the Chicago Bulls front office is a fool. I get it.
Yes.
But what kind of coach can you challenge yourself to be despite that? So I'm interested to see what happens with him. You know, the latter part of this month, going into the top of the year, moving to All-Star weekend. Hopefully they're able to turn a corner. Because I really like Monty Williams. I do. But this is just, it's really tough. They're a young team. So you got a young team with no confidence. That means that you got low emotional intelligence, no confidence, and just being a young player and having to develop. That's a lot of layers there for him to have to work through. But I do wish them and Terrika the best. I will say about the San Antonio Spurs, you know, I love Pop, but his time as a coach may be up. And I say this because this team is incredibly young. They've got one player that's in their 30s. He's 31. Everybody else is like in their early to mid 20s. This is a very, very young team. Mm-hmm. And the thing that concerned me about Pop is when he told the people to stop booing. Now, when you got on that microphone and did that said to me, you might need to be done. Because now things are getting weird. And I'm not saying he's senile, but you're tiptoeing in that direction when you do things like that. So I celebrate Greg Popovich's success. I think he's a winner. I think he has a winning mentality. Young players being around a coach like that is valuable, but I don't necessarily know if he's the coach to get them into the next iteration of what I believe they'll be, which is one hell of a team. They're going to need some time. But again, everybody listen, I love Pop, understand me, but his time just may be over. It happens. We don't live forever. We don't play forever. We don't coach forever. And this may be an indication that it's just time for him to just enjoy the rest of his life and be very happy and go golfing and do all the fun things that retired coaches and players do.
That ain't happening, Shari. That ain't happening.
I know why? I know.
Because he signed that 5-year deal.
Let me tell you something. If somebody's giving me millions of dollars, I will crawl to the bench and do everything else you need me to do. I get it, but that also speaks to we got to go back to ego, guys. It also plays a role in this. These people have, you have an athletic and competitive spirit. You're an athlete, you're a coach. You never really want to stop. Even as a former player, I miss basketball. I wish I could get out there and play right now. I can't. You never lose that. So if you have an opportunity to be close to the game and get a bag, I don't fault you for that. I'm just saying you might not have should have, and I said it that way on purpose. You might not have should have signed for 5 years.
Yeah,
maybe one of Phil Jackson was a genius with it. Phil Jackson has signed a 1-year contract. The man knew, hey, I might have to roll out of here. And that's my thing. These extended contracts for coaches that have passed their time is problematic. And this is an example of why, in my opinion.
Yep. I can't disagree. Not a single bit. Not a man. Not a bit. Can we touch and agree as we come together for this holiday season? Please bring the Pistons one more win.
Yes,
please.
God, do it.
Amen.
Do it.
Yes.
Well,
we ask these things in your name, basketball gods.
Yes.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Jeez, God is good. If y'all don't get a win before Christmas or before the new year, I'm worried about how you gonna show up.
To start taking prop bets. Who gonna be the team to lose to the Pistons? Who got fouled?
That's actually very fun and funny at the same time. Very fun.
No, it is. We're gonna be watching. We getting league pass just to see who do it first.
But can y'all imagine being on one of the teams that actually loses to them? Can you imagine like how low you would feel if you had to go home that night and tell your family we lost to the Pistons?
We lost to the Pistons.
Yo. Your kids will be roasting the hell out of you.
Absolutely. And their friends and everybody be at their school talking about you too.
Don't go play with Chris. You know his
daddy lost to the Pistons last night. He garbage. He garbage.
They would get so much bullying, right? Like so much playful. Your daddy your daddy lost the Pistons, so I don't take nothing from you. What you doing?
That is crazy.
Oh man.
We're such a respected franchise.
Right.
I'll tell you who would take Draymond. Detroit. Come home, Dray.
Bring the bad boys back. Resuscitate the bad boys era. Perfect.
He can get all the WWE action.
Yes. Yes.
Street slap boxing in. All of that. All right, so y'all, it's time for our jump ball segment, which is always very exciting. But before we get into that, we do have to pay our respects to the Eric Montrose family, as he lost his life on December 17th due to cancer, as he was diagnosed in March of 2023. He was a Tar Heel legend, as many of you know. So we are praying for him. He played for the great and the late Dean Smith from 1990 to 1994. And he was a starting center in 1993 when they won the NCAA championship. So we want to give him his respect and all the people that are grieving his loss. And now it's time to get into the game ball goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo, because the other week ago, Giannis scored 64 against the Pacers, who, again, don't play no damn defense, Terrika. And they took the ball, or did they? Right? Because it looked like the Bucks official or Bucks assistant got the game ball, and then the Pacers took another one to give to Oscar Tshiebwe, who scored not his first bucket, but his first point in the NBA. It was a free throw. He went 1 of 2. And Giannis looked like somebody had robbed his family or done something to his loved one. He's storming into the locker room like he's going to go crazy. He's going to go batshit crazy. And people have started to make fun of him for it, right? Where Julius Randle took the game ball when Jalen Brunson put up a 50-piece and didn't miss from 3. And he held it up like, what was it, Simba and Lion King or whatever, like, ain't nobody touching this. And then even Eric Spoelstra said the other day with the Heat, like, we got 3 game balls. So clearly they're having a lot of fun at Giannis's expense. First off, Shari, what do you think of Giannis reacting in such a passionate and aggressive manner to make a beeline for the Pacers locker room as if he's going to take smoke with everybody? Like, I'm going to fight everybody until I get this ball.
It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I think about when Randy Brown called himself taking the championship ball, and Michael was like, hold up a minute. But that was a championship. Okay, you are a superstar. And I would go on to say that I'm sure that we'll see Giannis score 60-plus points again. He's just that great of a player. His response was nuts. I was actually very confused when I first saw it. I said, something else must have happened. There's no way he's running around acting like this for the game ball. Somebody probably pushed him. I could literally not believe my eyes. I'm just not clear. Guys, I've been saying ego all day. I don't know why this just keeps coming up. You got to calm down. And the reality is you had another player on the other team. They took the initiative, the coach or what have you, to say, hey, he got his first pro basket. He'll never have that again. That's a moment he will never have again. So to me, everybody knows that Giannis is the guy. He's a superstar. I don't even think they really considered it, to be quite honest. And unless there's some type of rule that exists.
Hold up. No, they did. Hold up. I'm going to stop you right there, Shari. I'm going to stop you right there. Because I thought maybe they were telling the truth. But we saw the locker room video, and it showed, I think it was Miles Turner. It was like, yeah, don't give that ball back. No, don't give him the ball back. So they knew they petty as hell. My thing is, are you being petty? Because what's the rule? Is there a rule that states if you score 50 or more, you get the game ball? If you're the leading scorer of the game, you get the game ball. You all are making rules as you go. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's a man thing. I don't understand it. If it's not in the regulations and rules, then anybody who gets the ball first, do your thing. So if you're being petty, oh well, we're going to be petty today. But you don't have a right to the game ball because you scored 64 points. That's just my opinion. You don't. Would it be nice to have? Sure. Who wouldn't want a game ball when they score 64 points? That's great. But that's not your right. So if they got it first and they say they're not giving it back, oh well, you running around here acting like a 5-year-old, running in the locker room and running back and forth and cussing and fussing. That is absolutely absurd. For me, I don't get it. I'm a competitive person. I understand it. But you have other mementos. You got the shoes on your feet. Take those off and put them in, bronze them and put them on a shelf in your little trophy room. You got the jersey you scored in. You have other memorabilia that you can use to commemorate the moment. You don't need a ball to give you credibility in scoring that many points in the game. That's my whole thing. Yes, yep. Petty, but I'm here for petty too. Sometimes petty is a good time. But he overreacted and it was totally unnecessary.
Yup. Yup. That was actually my whole point. It was petty and I loved it just because it was petty. It was petty and I loved it just because it was petty. I get it. I agree that I think Giannis is could. I'm not saying he will, but Giannis could. He has the ability to score 64 points again at some point in his career. And on top of that, it was a historic night. So your name is going to be in the history books. Like, people are going to be able to look back at this moment years from now and say, hey, Giannis scored 64 points on this day against this team because it's that only 10 people have ever done it. So it's historic. You're there. Like, it's etched in. Ain't nobody gonna remember Oscar Sheboy scored his first point on that game. No one's gonna remember that.
Except his mama.
Exactly. So why would exactly? So exactly. So why would you give him the game ball? He scored freaking free throw.
Because that is the moment that you will never ever get back. You can see there are an abundance of ways that Giannis will be celebrated for what he did. Ain't nobody gonna celebrate Oscar Sheboy for that. That game ball is the one thing that man is gonna be able to have to commemorate that he scored his first point in the professional league that I'm sure he's dreamed all his life of being able to get to. It is not the same. It's not. Giannis got a championship. Giannis will be all right.
That's what I'm saying.
And he still didn't get
MVP. He'll be all right.
And he had a Disney Plus movie. Get out of here.
And he did. He's gonna be all right.
Listen. If you listen to his press conference, it's clear the reason why he was so adamant. And even though I think he may have overreacted, I can understand why he had this perspective. He was trying to give it to his mama, right? That's what his intention was. He wanted to give it to it. It's not about him.
You see these faces. You see these faces.
So y'all not going for the mom string?
No,
I am absolutely not.
Y'all not going for that?
Miss me with that. No.
You been in the league how long? This your first time trying to give your mama a ball?
It never occurred. They never tried to steal it from it.
How long you been in the league? You and your brother. So ain't either one of y'all decided to give your mama a ball until now?
Don't throw mama in there to try to get empathy from us. Sorry. Wrong audience. Wrong audience.
Yeah, clearly. I tried.
Your mama ain't thinking about that damn ball. Your mama is not thinking about that ball. Oscar Shitty mama probably thinking about that ball.
Correct.
You ain't thinking about that ball. You done won championships, MVPs, all type of awards. Your mama ain't thinking about that ball.
But you can hold on to it. It's like a career high. You can hold on to that possession. You can hold on to a championship. You can
also hold on to a shoe.
Thank you.
You see how you can just hold on to your shoe and you could sign it and put it in the whatever case you want to put it in. You got a whole jersey on. No, I'm so sorry. You got other things. Yeah,
you see this? You probably can't see it from here, but I got a black Wilson ball sitting on the top of my bookshelf. It is an Ari collection. For those of you who don't know Ari Chambers, she's amazing in the women's basketball space. Wilson made her a ball. Ari ain't Giannis. So Giannis, you can get somebody to make you a ball to get in your mama to commemorate that you scored 64 points. You better get out of here and let that boy have that ball.
It ain't the same though, but you know what? I'm clearly outnumbered here.
Bye to him.
But I stand down.
I appreciate your effort, Chris. I appreciate
on supporting my guy Giannis and his pursuit of that game ball. But before we get out of here, what do y'all think y'all did this week? I know it's early. It's only been 2 days since Tuesday when we tape it. That you deserve a game ball, Terrika.
I'm here. That deserves a game ball. First of all, we tape early in the morning, and I ain't no morning person, so me getting up is deserves a game ball. But I'm 2 weeks removed from surgery. I still hurt, and I still was like, nah, man, I miss my 3-on-3 family. I got to be here this week. So for me, just being here deserves a game ball.
Woo! I gotta go with the being here as well. I got up this morning and hit the gym at 6 a.m. so that I could make sure I was ready to go this morning, which is very outside of my normal time. So I give myself a game ball for that. But I will say too, the 100th episode of my podcast, Just a Thought with Shari Nycole, is going to air next Thursday. So I will give myself a game ball for that. Very excited about it.
Okay. All right. Word. No doubt. We gotta love that. And I'm gonna give myself a game ball because I turned 32 on Monday, December 18th as a black man. And that ain't promised.
Birthday!
That ain't promised. So yeah.
It's amazing.
That's all I got.
That's all you need. I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's
you don't need nothing more. You know what I'm saying?
Happy birthday.
We keep on pushing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Terrika, Shari. It's been a pleasure chatting with y'all, defending against trying to get against your point and all that, where I was outnumbered, laughing about James Harden and Monty Williams and Greg Popovich, maybe getting senile, Shari. But
saying, just pray for him. That's all.
We do. We do, because he looked like he's stressed. But that's it for this edition of the 3-on-3 Pod. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter at the 3-on-3 Pod, and then on Instagram 3-on-3 Pod. And also just download, subscribe, like, follow the podcast wherever you get them, because we're bringing the heat. As you see, we're clearly authentic, and we don't give a damn about holding back. And until next time, we love y'all. We'll see you, baby.